So BTC's just broken through the 69K level. Things are definitely looking a little bit bullish here at the moment. And if one of these tweets that I've seen is to be believed, we could get a big move out of BTC, about 20% within the next 11 days. So we got a lot to talk about that. Then we're going to see a couple of targets linked to BTC at these types of numbers. And then I'm covering things like Atom today, Injective. I've got some gaming tokens. We've seen the gaming stuff has been flying as well today. And I've got an update on a meme coin that I called in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on Friday. This thing is 10x up. Is it going to go more? We're going to look at that very closely later on. So we got a lot to talk about here today, guys. It's Monday. Let's get right into this. So Banter Bubbles playing the part nicely here today. A nice little mix. It's not like they're not killing us with the green, but it's quite pleasant to look at. And once again, some of these meme coins have taken off. And a lesson I remind you guys again, when there's been bearishness in the market or things are flat and the market suddenly turns bullish, where do you need to look? And if you don't like meme coins, well, then you're missing out, because it's things like PEPE, it's things like Bonk, it's WIF, and it's Floki. Look at how these things react when we get some sniff of bullishness out of the market. So things looking good. CAS is what I'm talking about today as well. That CAS trade that I've been sitting in for weeks is finally starting to cook. And we might be buying some handbags on that one. And then there's some news on Injective getting involved in some RWA things and things like that. And that is why you can see Injective is now 4% up. And lo and behold, it hit that 618 fib that I told you guys to watch out for last week. So we got a lot to discuss here. Let's just see the current Bitcoin situation and what they are trying to do at the moment. So how's this current candle here on the 4 hour? Looks a bit dark and deadly here. They did a little flush out. But overall, we can't be too upset. We've had a nice mover in the last couple of hours. Bitcoin's been pushing very well for us. And big support that I've got my eyes on right now, 69K on the button. Why? Well, look at these horizontals here. Look at that resistance. And now we've just cracked this resistance and we're trying to hold it now. So let's watch 69K closely for the next hour or so while we crack on here. And then a little bit lower down, no harm in a little visit to a 618 for Bitcoin. So that's 68K. So look out for something like that if we get a little bit of weakness there. And then the big dog has to be the 67,200. This is where we've been bouncing now for the last week or so. And this thing has held really well. In fact, I actually can't believe it has held this well for this long. I was definitely expecting a little bit more downside there at some point. So these are the big levels now we're watching today for the next for the next couple of hours. Right, let's see what is cooking in the news at the moment. So there's a lot going on out there. And for those of you that have stocks and things like that, you might have got the fright of your lives earlier today. We've seen numerous multi-billion-dollar companies are down 99%. And as it turns out, it's not actually real. It's not your portfolio. So hopefully your granddad didn't have a heart attack there when he opened his Berkshire shares and things like that. And it's just a glitch that is floating around there in the US at the moment. So nothing to panic about. They haven't quite fallen over. And Nick Crypto says, this is interesting. He says the balance of BTC and ETH on exchanges at a 4-year low. Okay. And when you hear words like supply shock, that always sounds quite bullish and frothy and things like that. And we often get moves when the guys start using these terms. So look out. I mean, the BTC and ETH is not sitting on exchanges. What does that mean? Generally, what it tells us is if we got lots of BTC and ETH on exchanges, the guys are trying to sell and do all those types of things. And right now, there's limited supply on exchanges. So what happens when the demand increases? These things start popping and the prices really start pushing up. So things are looking good on that front. Is there a supply shock? Well, potentially. And this was interesting for you guys. Satoshi Flipper, and he's looked at June performances for Bitcoin over the last 10 years. So I thought this is a good one to look at. In May, we looked at the May performance, and June, he's given us a nice little spreadsheet here, and a bit of a sort of a mixed vibe going on here. 2013 was down 16%, but more recently, 2023, we were up 11. 2022, well, that was a disaster, wasn't it? That was minus 38%, and 2021 minus 6. That was full bull market vibes back then, and minus 6% there. 2020 only plus 3 when that bull run had started as well. So interesting times here, and maybe we're going to get a bit of a flat June before things really take off. But something to note, something to watch, something to take note of, and just some interesting numbers here from the guys. And Peter Brandt quite a well-respected chartist. I love watching this guy, and he's called a few bangers in the past. And, I followed him on one or two of his trades previously, and he's now calling a nice little setup here on Bitcoin. And he's just giving you an example, but his little, what do we call this? His little parabola is basically sending us to above 100K. So we're looking at about 150K here from Peter Brandt. And, the man gets it right more often than not. And I like what he's saying here. So he's basically saying after the halving, we get a nice little push up and into his parabola here. So watch out, 150K in the next 12 months, 150K in the next 18 months. Is it possible? Well, looking at his document here, maybe it is something that is going to happen there for us. And then the GME fans, we thought this went away. Remember the GME guy, Roaring Kitty? He came back to life a couple of weeks ago, and those GME meme coins were pumping. GameStop was pumping again on the US markets and things like that. Then he simmered down and he disappeared again. Well, he's dropped some more tweets, and some more info has come out with this guy, and he has now $65 million worth of GameStop calls with a $21 strike expiring in 90 days. This guy is heavily loaded here, and he needs to keep the price above this $21 for GME. So this guy's a serious player here. He's got some massive positions. He's clearly the real deal in the market here. And here's 𝗂𝗶𝗁𝗀 letter saying the GameStop stock GME surges 20% in overnight trading after he reportedly bought $65 million of calls. Okay, so are these meme stocks back again? And you've seen the correlation here. Last time he came out from hiding, all these memes started flying, and once again they're really starting to respond again. And the meme tokens are just loving this guy. And can you believe it? He's the 5th largest shareholder of GameStop GME in the world. I mean, this is insane to be the 5th largest. He was just a YouTuber just doing his thing in the back, and now he's the 5th largest holder of GameStop. I mean, that is something unbelievable. And just a follow-up on this GameStop chart, the volatility is not over. Look at how this thing has absolutely gapped up. I believe it also, trading got stopped on this one as well at some point. So this is really going to be a story that we need to be watching and paying attention to over the next while, guys. And don't forget, if you are enjoying the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell notification. There he is. He's in another part of the world now. He's still traveling, and we'll catch up, Ray. We need to know exactly where Ray is at some point. He's going to have to let us know, but make the man happy. Hit those likes for us. So GameStop, look, a nice little story unfolding here, something interesting to watch. We'll keep you guys updated as we go with any news that's coming through on that, but very interesting story. Now, did anyone take my trade that I gave you guys on Friday? I told you we were looking at this S&P. This is the S&P on the daily dipping down into a hot zone. And I told you guys I'd opened my first position for my long on the S&P, and I was looking for a bounce on the 382 and the 50-day moving average. I had a couple of more entries loaded up. Unfortunately, they didn't hit. But remember, when you're getting weakness in the market, what I always look for, and it works in crypto and it works in stocks, believe it or not, when you're getting that weakness, all you need to do is dial into the big money printer zones. The money printer zones are nice big fib pools, 382s, 618s, and moving averages like the 50-day, the 200-day, the 100-day. And if you get those on your charts, and they become little money printers for you, because they become zones where you get reactions and where you get nice little bounces. So if you were around on Friday, I called this move on the S&P, and I took that long. Let's just open my Prime XBT account here. Remember, Prime XBT, you can trade the S&P, but you can also trade gold and silver and oil. And then on top of that, you can trade crypto, as you see that I do on a daily basis. So unfortunately, I only got one entry here for the S&P. My other two entries didn't take. But nice to see once again that we are performing, and we're getting action off just very simple things on the chart that you are using. So when you dial out, again, these are the most effective, obviously, all the time. The bigger fib pools that you can get are the stronger ones. So if you dialed in on 15 minutes, they are less effective. But if you are zoomed out and those type of things, then we do get those reactions that we look for. So Prime XBT, this is my current crypto situation. So a little bit volatile today. It hasn't been great, but I am currently long BTC. As you can see here, I'm still in this ETH long from when was this? This was from Friday. We opened this ETH long, and then Sol on the Sniper Club live session last night, we opened the Solana long on that bottom move. It sort of pinged a little low there on the 15 minutes, and we thought we'd jump in there on the scalp. and they haven't ended me yet. So I'm staying in the sole position, and we'll see how this one unfolds, because I do have a slightly lower level on Solana that I'd like to hit, but I do have some massive targets here for you guys. So we're going to cover that one shortly, and our liquidation map that we like to look at. Well, this thing's been plugged in pretty quickly here. You can see there's a bit of a mess now in the middle of the chart. So things are floating around, but what we can see is the longs are currently outweighing the shorts. Okay, so that is something to note. And if we look at these levels on the liquidation heat map, a push back to 66K does look reasonable. It doesn't look unreasonable yet. Just take out this little cluster, and if they're going to send us higher, well, you can see where we can potentially go on the short term here, and that would be around 71,800 up to about 72K. So I wouldn't say it's evenly weighted, but you can see a nice little cluster both ways. So it's anyone's guess as to which way these guys are going to send us. We'll have to see how they're going to play it in the next 24 hours. Okay, here's something interesting for you guys. Now, Michael Pizzino dropped an interesting tweet here. Great account to follow as well. It's Pizzino Michael. He says the daily range in Bitcoin dropped below $500 for the first time since January. Back then, BTC was still trading under 42K. Okay, the last 3 times volatility was this low, all led to major trend continuations. Okay, so we had a look at this thing earlier today, and we did some calcs. And basically, this thing is teeing us up for a move in the next, say, 11 days. So we're looking at an 11-day play here for BTC, and we could see something as big as about a 20% move on BTC. And if we take where BTC is right now, 68, 69K, and you start adding 20% to that, we're looking at an $80,000 level here on BTC. Now, if this plays out, okay, if history rhymes, let's say it's not repeated, but if it rhymes and this thing starts playing out, we naturally going to see some of these altcoins absolutely ripping. And a couple that I put on my tile today was Solana and CAS that we're going to talk about. But then obviously, naturally, that's going to move into a lot of these other coins. So all the tokens I'm looking at today, we're obviously going to cover a couple of tokens here, but we'll look at some higher levels in case we get some of these moves out of BTC. So a little bit of bull sauce here just for you guys. Didn't want to get anybody too excited. But, if history rhymes, not necessarily repeats, we could see a nice little push up here on BTC. So nice little game plan here for us to look out for things like this. And here's BTC on the daily. I just wanted to update you guys on this one as well. And look how beautifully this rising trend is holding at the moment. Something as simple as a rising trend is basically holding up the entire Bitcoin market at the moment. We just drew a trend line and we're holding it up. Next thing I'm going to blow on the screen, maybe we're going to blow these candles up as well. Maybe that can also perform some magic. But who would have thought a little trend line could hold up the whole market? And there it is. So right now on the daily, what are we watching? Upside for now. In the current conditions, what are we looking at right now? Anything for me up to the 71,600, 72,000 level, that ties in with that liquidation heat map quite nicely. And once that starts popping, well, then things get a little bit interesting, because we know we've got a lot of stop losses and things like that from all the shorters a little bit higher up there. And what happens when we start putting bullish pressure on these big resistance zones where we know there's a lot of shorters and a lot of bears sitting in that area? Well, sometimes when the price starts creeping up, these bears get a little bit scared and they have to start closing some of their positions. And what happens if you close a short? You have to buy the position back. And that could potentially create some kind of short squeeze here on BTC and a slightly bigger move than we might be anticipating. So that's a shortish term play. And if we take Pizzino's tweet there and we add 20%, let's just check where that's going to take us. And if we take it from roughly where we are now and we rank this thing up to 20%, we're looking at about 83,000 for BTC. That sounds like fun. And to me, that sounds like a nice little level. And I see Maritza. She says she doesn't like it. She loves it. And, an 83K Bitcoin could be super fun, because the next thing about that is they're going to create a new support base for us. And once we start breaking these highs, we're going to have a new low that we could potentially look for longs from as well. So if we do get a pop here from BTC and things start cruising up, we've got a new support base that we can look at. And we're going to have so much fibbage tied in that thing that we're going to be long and strong from any retests onto that zone as well. So exciting times ahead, but baby steps here. Let's crack resistance, and then let's see if this Pizzino tweet is going to start playing out for us. And but certainly interesting things happening there. Okay, where are my people? Where are my people in the chats here? I see Zara says Sol is going to the moon. I have to agree. That will be nice. Ripple Muncher says safe moon will melt faces. What is the story with that face moon? Safe moon. Remind me with that thing. I remember it was a rug or something and they called it safe. And that thing fell out. Let's see. Wait, hit the bullhorn. I agree. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Doc Maruk says hit the like buttons as well. Thomas is here in the chats. Right, guys. And I see there's a Cosmo dog. Now, is this linked to the atom situation? Because I've got an atom chart that looks like it could potentially melt some faces here. If there is a little atom or cosmos narrative playing out for us in the near future. So we're going to take a look at that now. And Uncle Wizard says Casper is ripping. I agree. And I'm going to show you my current Casper trade shortly. And yeah, things are moving nicely there finally. But I did sit in that thing for a hell of a long time. It was a long burn there for me. Okay, altcoin fans, let's not forget dominance. We are still pushing into this rising trend. Not great, but we're looking for a rejection in this area. So we got our weekly close under the trend, but it's not helping that they are sending dominance up at the moment. So we need some kind of rejection here just to give these altcoins a little bit of a kick and a little bit of a boost here. So that is what we're looking for from an altcoin perspective. This is the weekly dominance chart. So remember, we want a rejection here if we want to send these altcoins. That is basically how it needs to play out. If Bitcoin's going to start ripping and melting faces to 80K, then we don't mind. If dominance starts pushing up for the time being, then we are all happy. Dominance can go push back up to 57%, no problem there. And then when we get that rejection or that consolidation around that 80K region, we're going to see a melt faces move here on this dominance that is really going to start sending some of these altcoins. So let's be prepared. Let's make sure we know our alt levels. And most importantly as well, let's make sure we know where some big TP zones are for some of these altcoins. And let's not get caught in a situation where we're buying tops or we overstaying our welcome in some potential trade. So we're going to pay attention to all of that. And I see Carlos is saying Sui is lagging. Yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Sui. And, you know, we dropped that Sui setup a couple of times last week. It's still hovering around. I wouldn't sleep on that thing at all. I'd say pay attention to that one and just keep it on your list. And I see Richard is talking about injective. Yeah, we've got an injective spin for you guys as well. But let's first not digress here. Let's deal with Ethereum and no real changes. So you could see I was in a prime XBT long there on ETH. And unsurprisingly, at the moment, very flat and very boring for ETH traders. So your main support is still this 3,700 level. Nothing to do here for, you know, in the current conditions. What am I watching? Anything at 3.7. Don't forget, we've got 3.5 banger zone for us. And don't forget 3.250. These are all banger areas here for ETH. And, you know, the last time ETH hit that 3.7, I added to my position. If they're going to send us down to 3.5, I'm adding to that position there. These are all zones that could be the potential bottom of an ETH move. So don't forget about that. And one of these areas could be the bottom of a mega pump here on some of these altcoins. And it could be led by ETH. Let's not forget the ETF is going live pretty soon. Right, so let's start with Solana. And what do we deal with if BTC is going to start ripping to 80K? Well, number one, we need to make sure we have SOL entries. Okay, so you can see I have a current entry on Prime XBD on Solana, but I am not, you know, I'm not convinced that we might not get this little push a little bit lower down. So tentatively, I'm still watching 158 to 153. I'm still looking for a little move into this horizontal zone. I just want to see this wick. I want to take out some of the longs here, get a little wick into the zone, and then I want to send SOL a little bit higher. So I'm looking out for something like that. I am anticipating it, but we'll see how this is going to play out. And if it starts running first or running early, you guys know the drill now. You've played trend breaks a million times here, and this will be a nice trend break on the daily. That will be quite a bullish candle there for you. And once you start seeing that trend break, things are going to start looking pretty bullish for SOL and the market as a whole. So once you get that trend break, you can start nibbling at a position, but the real trade is going to be on that retest when we have a little bit of support. So look out for that. And just in summary, ideally, I'd love 158 to 154. If we're not going to get it, we're going to push this thing on that trend break. We're going to add to that current position that I'm in if it holds. And we're going to really put pressure on that SOL and try and send it higher. Now, what are my targets? Well, quite easily here. I think if Bitcoin pushes quickly to 80K, if it's a fast move to 80K, these alts are going to start lagging. But I would expect that we're going to see Solana really hit the 200, 220 level relatively quickly if BTC pushes up to 80K. So that is my first sort of level of interest here for Sol that we're going to be looking at. So number one, and let's just check the size of this move quickly. We're looking at from roughly these areas here, maybe about a 28% play on Sol. And then you can zoom out on the weekly and just take a look and remember, where is our all-time high? And, Sol is definitely one of the candidates that can revisit all-time highs from 2021. So here we are, and we're looking at that 250. So for me, 250 is still in play for Solana. I think it's just a matter of time, and as long as BTC remains bullish now and starts firing here, I think we're going to start seeing these targets sooner rather than later. So let's watch that one play out. And Ray, what do you think? You like meme coins yet, bro?
I love meme coins. They've been trying to cross me all weekend. In fact,
what part of the world are you in? Let us know.
I'm in Texas.
He's in Texas. Okay, he's in Texas. Consensus. Okay, let's cover this current situation. So, guys, there's a BitGet trading competition coming up. Okay, and Sheldon and I have joined forces. We're calling it the Team Sniper Club. Okay, so Sniper Club members, you know who you are. You in the chat. So Sheldon and I are joining forces on this one. We are trading as the Sniper team and or the Sniper Club team. We might change the name to Sniper Club Army, something along those lines. Join us for this BitGet competition. What you need to do, go to the link in the description. Sign up to BitGet using my link in the description, then register. The information is there under the show description, and register to join us for this trading competition. It's starting in a couple of days. Here's the BitGet link, third from the top. Okay, let's get involved. We're going to take a few banger trades here. Sheldon and I are going to be strategizing hard this week as to how we're going to do it. Are we going to do it with one massive trade, or are we going to do it with a few scalps along the way and things like that? So Sniper Club guys, you're going to be very involved in this process for us. So make sure you are in. If you're not in the Sniper Club, obviously come and join us. If you're a fan of the show and you're watching the show, get a BitGet account. Use the links here in the description. Join us for this competition. You can take the trades that we are going to take, and hopefully we are going to do well in this thing. We want to win. We want to beat the front runners. We want to beat 𝗘𝗆𝗍𝗍 and all those guys. So join us for our team here, and we want to do some damage for this BitGet trading competition. So grab the link in the description, sign up, and join us for this prestigious event. And Bruce, I hope Bruce is gonna. I see the legends here in the back still. Are you joining us? Good morning to you, sir.
Of course, I'm going to be in there. I plan on winning it.
There's our Sniper Club legend. He's going to be in there. I know he's going to be doing some dark and dangerous things there on some of those altcoins. So looking forward to that. Right, let's talk altcoins here. Let's talk current situation. So Stephanie Winkle. Okay, this looks a little bit French going on here, but luckily we have Google Translate. And he says, in your opinion, will Atom manage to recover its 2021 all-time highs to over $44? I'm not convinced personally. But what I can see here is Atom is due some kind of movage, some kind of pumpage. So I'm looking at this Atom chart with a little bit of interest here. And I did hear some murmurs today on the research call as well. The research guys were talking Atom, Cosmos season, things like that. And, this started coming to my attention. So I thought, let's revisit this Atom situation. And lo and behold, what is third on the list here on this Atom thing? It's Injective. Okay, so I've got the Atom chart here, and I've got the Injective chart now here. And there's a couple of things tied in with Injective as well that we're going to talk about. But number one, let's deal with Atom. Okay, look at this chart. It's been absolutely abused. It's like nobody trades it anymore, and they seem to not give it any love. But look how this thing is consolidating at the moment. It's starting to look a little bit interesting to me. This is the daily chart for Atom, and you can see what's going on here. It's putting pressure on this 50-day moving average at 8.5. Okay, we're watching this 50-day MA. Why is this important to me? Well, number one, this 50-day MA is sitting at this trend as well. So if we zoom in a little bit, you can see what's going on here. We've got a 50-day and trend resistance. Okay, so the minute we see a little break here from Atom, we might get a little rejection in that region, but that 50-day MA is going to be our support marker that we are going to be working with. And that is going to be a nice base to launch from. So if Atom starts breaking 8.5, 8.6, that sort of region, I'm interested. I think there could be a potential move brewing then on Atom. So make sure that you start breaking these resistance zones first. Once you start breaking, we can start nibbling and looking around on Atom. Then the minute we get that support forming at around 8.5 on that trend retest, things are going to look very interesting here for us with some potentially big targets. So the first one that I'm looking for, obviously, is got to be the 200-day moving average. So starter one, there's no trade until we break this 50-day MA. Okay, so that is rule number one. So if you are jumping in now, you are jumping into resistance. Number one, I want to break the 50-day MA. Then we can start looking at a potential atom setup. The 200-day MA is just, it's an obvious target for us. It's 20% away. Okay, looks like we could move there relatively quickly, but that is a big target that I'm watching. And then a little bit higher up, we got a couple of horizontals and things like that we need to pay attention to. Look at this nice juicy zone here at about 10.6. So there's a nice area as well. If we start breaking that, if we do manage to push that far on Atom, very simple game plan, we're going to have that 200-day MA as a potential support base for us that we can work with for our next potential long. So let's look out for that at the moment, but exercise patience. When we break that 50-day MA, then there might be interest from the market. Then people might say, okay, this narrative is potentially starting now with Atom breaking a trend, breaking the 50-day MA, and then the market's going to get interested in this thing again. So right now, there's no one really talking about it other than a couple of murmurs that we've seen floating around. So watch this Atom. I've put it on my watch list. If this thing starts moving, we need to jump into this because there could be a little bit of action. I see Zahir says, yes, Atom ecosystem is boom, boom. Ballistic. Yeah, we're going to see. We know Atom has done its thing in the past. It's been super boring of late, but let's keep that on our list now. There's some information here on Injective. Injective is taking over RWAs. Did Injective just change their little narrative from staking like Celestia did to the modular narrative? Now Injective is coming at us, dropping RWAs. They want some BlackRock action. They want some Larry Pink things in their lives. So now Injective talking RWAs. And what's happened here? The chart has started waking up. Now, did anybody grab Injective off the 618 that I told you I was looking at last week? We were looking for a little dip from Injective onto the 618. Look at this. It's an absolute thing of beauty here. Injective dipping into the 618 for you. All those that were patient got their entries. When did this happen? This happened on Sunday, yesterday. So 24 hours ago, we got our move into the 618. Nice little push so far from Injective. This trade this setup has been sitting in the Sniper Club for the last probably 2 weeks. I've been leaving this here saying, the Sniper Club guys, we're waiting for the 618. Now we've got it. Okay, so we've got our first move now on Injective. What is the plan and where can this thing go? So phase one, your first trade is now complete. Your 618 move has been done. Now you are at trend resistance. Okay, so number one, we are pushing into trend. Now, this is your option. You can either now raise your stops if you grabbed it off that 618, or you can take some profits here at this resistance zone, or obviously you can go send this thing to Valhalla and leave everything as is. But the strategy here for me, the next potential trade for Injective, if you're not in it already, you can see what's going on here. We're breaking the 50-day moving average. What does this tell me? This tells me let's break this trend. Let's come back for a hard retest here. We're going to find a 618 pull or a 382 fib in this region, and then we're going to get a next long on Injective. So option one, leave it if you want. Let it break trend. On the next retest, you can add to this Injective situation with confidence off that 50-day MA, because we know if we lose the 50-day MA, then we're potentially turning bearish again, and maybe we don't want to be sitting in that position. So let's break this trend. Let's break the 50-day MA, and then on our retest, you can add or you can get your next Injective position. And we're not going to be too greedy on this one for Injective, but if this RWA situation starts gaining a bit of momentum and a bit of steam, we're going to be looking at a couple of targets. Number one is the 200-day moving average, which is, well, it was 28% from that 618, but right now it's about 20% away that you're looking at. And then our next potential target, once we blow that, you can see this beautiful range here. And that's a 45%er that we're going to be looking for. So step one, let's get through trend. Let's retest the trend and make our way to this range high. Once we ping this region at around about 30, our next phase is going to go, and we're looking for this range play. Something like this into the top of this range here, round about 46. Then it's anyone's guess as to what happens after that with Injective. But right now, phase one, let's get into that range high. And so far, you know, the 618, playing the game for those who are patient. Okay, and a reminder, I've been mentioning this last week. Sometimes we really just need to kick back and wait for our big zones to hit. And the bigger the fib pools, the better they are and the stronger they are. Like you saw on that S&P 500 reaction, on that 382 years injective, on the 618 little reaction here for you. And again, this is now major support for anybody trading injective. So your major support now has got to be 24. That is your level you're watching on injective. You start losing that, yes, we start looking at potentially lower areas and things like that. But injective looking good. Atom, Cosmos, ecosystem play, yes. RWA narrative, yes. Maybe that's coming into play now. So let's get that on our watch list. We can see today it was performing nicely and things are looking good there so far. Right. Let's cover Celestia. So Celestia was a little bit of a disappointment. We had two bangs on a resistance area. So Spencer Noon he's just talking about data here on Celestia. There's a lot going on. Okay, and we saw this narrative change from fundamentals of staking to this modular situation, but we couldn't get Celestia over the line. So we got our first rebuy off the 382. This was last week. We got our rebuy off that 382, and this was the moment we really wanted to blow through this trend here and send this thing higher. But now we've rejected once again. Okay, so now we've got something that's looking a little bit double toppy at the moment on Celestia. We need to just watch this one closely. And what I would say here, Celestia traders, you need to watch your big support. Now, your big support has to be your 382 fib once again. So watch this region, 10.4. Look out for a move into this area here. And you can see the rest of the market's been pretty bullish today, and Celestia has been falling over. So what I'd look for here, if we do push lower, I'd look for a little move up somewhere in this little box here, and round about, let's say 10.5, and you can push it 10.5 to about 10 has got to be your support that you want to play around with right now. Unfortunately, we didn't get that proper breakout we were looking for, so we'll have to sit back and watch and see how this is going to play out. I see Michael says US markets are getting slightly rinsed. Let's see, are we getting rinsed here in the US? S&P, yeah, slightly rinsed. Not too bad. Nothing to panic about just yet. Like, it is red. It is a red candle. I'll give you that. Okay. So Celestia, you know the drill. Once we start breaking the trend, let's just look at some potential targets here. Where can this thing go? I mean, there's a lot of guys calling this thing bottomed out now and all these types of things, but we can't get excited. When we start double topping and rejecting, we just need to exercise a little bit of caution here until we start breaking our next level. Okay. And the next level has to be this resistance band. So right now, 11.8, you got to pop this 11.8, and then you want support 11.8, 11.6. When you have that support, then I don't want to say all hell will break loose, but the market will get excited. You know, the guys love a little bit of a trend break and things like that. So look out for that on Celestia. Ray, are we trading Celestia again, bro? Or are we done?
Sometimes we actually took a short on it. Me and David took a short on it the other day.
Thanks for telling me, bro. Thanks.
No
Appreciate it. We're in the same WhatsApp group. He doesn't even tell me he's shorting Celestia. Okay, so now we saw today.
He didn't tell me either.
Didn't he? And we're in the same WhatsApp group as well, Bruce. This is offensive. We got to deal with this. We got to deal with this decisively. Okay, so gaming season. BS Joe Biden. How's this guy's name? Fuck. I mean, I don't even know what this is.
Am I getting arrested? Hold on here. Hold on. We're in Texas.
Bro, we're in the same chat group here, bro. Okay, BS Joe Biden. It says gaming season. Now, we noticed today, okay, if anybody woke up today and, the US guys would have woken up later, you would have seen your gaming bags.
Well, hold on. We need to wake up the likes. I'm sorry. Let's wake up the likes before anybody else wakes up.
Guys, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, smash. You know the story. I hope I'm saying smash right. Okay, so BS Joe Biden. Let's cover this again. You woke up this morning, your gaming bags were pumping. You're like, what the fuck? Gaming's been dead for months, and maybe we're getting a little move. So we've got GALA. You guys know that I've been in this GALA position for a while. So I'm going to take a look at GALA, and I've got a few other gaming related tokens for you guys, and they are nicely connected to a couple of other things. So let's just start with our first one. Let's start with our first banger here, and this is super. So there's a couple of reasons why I took this super long. Number one, Seth from 𝗲𝗍𝗆 today. Those of you would have seen him on my show once or twice, and you would have seen 𝗲𝗍𝗆𝗆. He gets pretty excited at the end of the month and at the end of the week. Why does he get excited? Well, number one, we get these new monthly pivots at the end of the month that tell us the direction of the market, and every week we get new weekly pivots. And I was looking at my super chart earlier today, and at the same time, Seth dropped a potential long play on super, and it was based on his monthly pivot. So I just want to show you guys how that tied in quite nicely with my current chart. So those of you that are in super, we've got some interesting levels here for you. So I've used 𝗲𝗍𝗆 and I've used my regular TA in my decision making here on super, so you can see what's going on. The red lines that you see there in front of you are the monthly pivots. Okay, so our new monthly pivot has opened up very tight. And when you see a tight monthly pivot, that's often a sign that you're going to get a big move either way. Fortunately, super has now broken above the monthly pivot, so that could tell us we could be in a swing long here for super with a couple of bigger targets at play. So that's number one. Number two, for me, we've broken the 50-day moving average. Okay, that's another big one for me. And we've reclaimed a rising trend. As you can see, we've got this rising trend playing up here for us. And number three, we've broken the weekly pivot. So we got a new weekly pivot. Look here, I'm zooming in. And this is an incredibly tight weekly pivot. These are the yellow lines here, and that is slap bang on the 50-day moving average. So we know we've got huge support in this region for super. Is it time for a bigger super move? Yes, I think potentially this thing could be on. So my support here and my exit play on this current trade is 0.9658. And let's just zoom out and look at some potential targets and how we can potentially play this thing. If you are not in it already, what is the current game plan? So quite a simple move here for me. And that's the previous week's pivot there, that those yellows that you're seeing there. What do we want to do now? Well, number one, we want to blow this trend. Okay, so you can see we've got trend pressure here on the daily, looking good. Nice trend in the way. What do we want to do? We want to pop this trend now, and we want to reject here at this resistance band. So you can see a very clear resistance zone for us here, 1.14 for me on super. Nice little rejection here would be quite pleasant, I would say. Anything down there, we're going to look for that retest, and then we're going to get our new entry. So you're going to find when we push up there, we're going to have nice fib support as well. That's going to tie in with horizontals. It's going to tie in with the trend as well. So we're going to look out for something along those lines. Let's pull a fake fib here and make an assumption. So what I'm going to do here, just for this example, I'm going to make the assumption that super now breaks the trend and pops higher. So we're going to pull a fib here from the low to the high. We're going to get our 618 and 382 out. Bang, look at that. Okay, so if, for example, super starts breaking this trend and you're not in the position, okay, you need to then wait for that retest. If we get that rejection, so look out for something like this. If it pops, look for a rejection onto that region. That could be your big buy zone here. Buy zone number one, tied in with horizontals. So right here, 1.055. So remember, if you are buying super now, you are buying super into trend resistance. You are buying super into horizontal resistance as well. So nothing wrong with buying that, but I wouldn't advise it as a leverage trader. Okay, if this thing starts breaking higher and you can see support developing at around about 1.05, 1.06, then you can maybe start working on some potential longs. Remember, the point of the exercise as a leverage trader is you trying to be super greedy with your entries, because you don't want to have too much risk if you need to exit the market in case you are wrong. So that is why we don't like to open leverage positions into major resistance areas unless we know where our big support levels are and things like that we can play with. So ideally for me, you're looking for super then to push a little bit higher up first, get a little bit of support, and then pull back lower down. So that is the current strategy that I would look for there. And big support levels for you, 0.9658, and then your 50-day MA at 0.99. That could also give you a little bit of super support there. Yes, JMO, I absolutely agree, guys. I mean, I actually think we need to do this. A 618 fib tattoo. I'm in. We got to get it somewhere. We got to get this thing going. Okay. So here is my super trade. I opened this one on ZoomX earlier today. I did tell the Sniper Club as well that Seth had given us that potential setup. So we dropped this long setup in Sniper Club, and I immediately took that trade. And this is happening right now on ZoomX. So what is ZoomX? ZoomX is another great exchange that I've been trading at, and very similar to some of the other exchanges. And what are they offering you? They're offering you a 20% sign up bonus here if you jump into the exchange. So click the link in the description below, and you can trade these things with me on ZoomX as well. No KYC required for them either, and get cracking. So you can see Super's looking good here, and we up, what is the percentage? We up 41% at the moment on Super, and it was a $10,000 position. We up 450 for now. We almost in handbag country, nearly there, nearly in the handbag territory. Okay, the next one for us is GALA. And this is GALA on the 12th hour. Now, I'm going to show you guys something interesting now, but GALA is basically still in a very tight range. So we can't get super excited until it really starts blowing big areas. But we've been saying, and I think Sheldon's been talking about this one on his show as well, that he was building a GALA position. So we're both in this at the moment, and you can see what's going on here. We're in a very tight range currently. You can see the highs and the lows happening here with GALA. So, you know, the bears are going to say, well, we're going straight back to the range lows, and the bulls are saying, well, hang on, we've now broken a massive trend. So let's just zoom out and look at this trend quickly. The bulls are going to say trend time here for GALA, and this is a perfect horizontal rejection, just like I showed you guys that we were looking at on Super, and we are now looking for any support buys down back to round about, say, 44, somewhere in that region, and then we are looking for much bigger things here on GALA. So let's dial in here quickly. Okay, what do I like about GALA currently? Look at our support levels that we have. I'm going to readjust this for you in a sec. Last night on Sniper Club, we were looking at the 618 for GALA. What happened? It drifted down in the live session. Actually, after the live session, pinged the 618 and turboed itself up to higher levels. So again, the 618 coming into play there for you guys. And let's just look at some support levels now that we want to watch. Look at this. Okay, we've got 50-day moving average support now and 618 for GALA. So this is a huge area. If we get a retest on GALA, this has to be, for the bulls, your next buy zone, 0.044. Okay, watch this rejection now. Watch this pullback, and don't think it doesn't happen. Remember, we had a very bullish Celestia bang into resistance, then it rejected quite hard, and then you got your entry off that pullback, and here is a potential zone for you now for GALA traders. If you do get this pullback now into this zone, look at this 50-day MA, look at this horizontal, look at these trends here, and that is what we're looking at for GALA, 0.44. This is now your big support. If you are sitting in a GALA position, if you're looking for a new entry, that is your retest zone. That is where you want to be, especially for the leverage traders. That is where you want to grab your greedy entries. Okay, these are your tight entries that you want to limit your risk when you are trading leverage as much as possible. Okay, let's see what else is happening here. Lalo says render. So interesting thing. There's an Apple event coming up in the next few days. And we were saying last night, render is something you potentially need to be looking for entries in the next couple of days. So we've seen render holding the same support for about 5 days, 7 days at the moment. We do have a couple of levels lower down on render, so I'm not looking at that one today. I can look at that in depth tomorrow, but I think there's going to be a render trade playing out in the next week or so. So let's keep our eyes on render. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Right, IMX, another gaming play. This was an entry I gave you guys on Friday as well, and so far so good. So the fibs are doing the magic. The science is coming into play, and here it is. So what did we do? IMX, we pinged the 786, bang, and we didn't hit it once, we hit it twice. And right now, IMX traders, things are fine at the moment. So if you took this trade with me on Friday, you still got your support. What you can do is you can raise your stops to entry if you want to de-risk things at the moment. But as far as this plan is concerned, it's looking good. And we also had Seth on 𝗲𝗆𝗆 also drop an IMX long at some point as well, using his 𝗲𝗆𝗆 setup. So there's a couple of things looking good here for IMX at the moment. If you are interested in 𝗲𝗆𝗆, just grab the link. It's in the description. And there is a free trial there on 𝗲𝗆𝗆 for you guys. Or alternatively, you can just be in Sniper Club, because in Sniper Club, we're dropping 𝗲𝗆𝗆 things. Seth is active in there. He's dropping a couple of setups for you every now and again. He's obviously not giving you the full Monty, but he is around in the Sniper Club if you are interested. Okay. Cash traders, here we go. And I wish Chaos was here. He loves his cash. Is Chaos here? I wonder if he's in the chats at the moment. Let's see if he lifts his head. Okay, so cash traders. I mean, this trade, I've been sitting in this thing probably for I think 3 weeks, give or take, if I'm not mistaken. And sometimes these things are a long journey as you make your way to the various TPs and things. So we finally hit our big TP here on CAS. We finally hit the zone. But if we're taking this Pizino tweet seriously and we're saying, okay, BTC is going to 80K, where could that potentially take us for CAS? So what I've done is I've marked out 2 areas of interest here as to where I think CAS can send us in the short term here. So number one, if you are in this CAS trade, well, congrats, you've now hit TP2. But number 3 here is TP3, 0.186. I'm loving this area here for CAS, 0.186. What does this look like? How do we get there? Well, number one, you can see we've got some support busy forming right now. So if you are not in the current CAS position, I can give you 2 areas that you can use as potential support zones to watch. So number one, 0.148. Okay, you can see this is the previous high. So if we do get a pullback, you're looking for a bounce in this region, 0.148. Look at that one. And then we've got bigger support a little bit lower down, which is our old TP, which is now going to turn, which was resistance, is now going to turn into support for us. Your next support zone, 0.143. Watch out for this area here as well. Both of these areas are potential long zones now for CAS on any weakness. Okay, this thing is looking super bullish. We've printed a new high, so that's great. And some kind of breather here could be a bullish breather for us and give us some kind of bullish pullback. So look out at both of these areas. These are support levels that you can pay attention to now. And I do have a bigger target if things really start getting a bit stupid here. I have highlighted a 1.618 fib here on CAS at 0.24. So that's a huge move for us. Is it out of the question? No, I don't think so. It's a 60%er on CAS. Do you remember a couple of months ago how bullish everyone was on CAS? Then it went very quiet. Well, I think these guys are starting to come back. They're starting to get aggressive on CAS again, and all we need is a little bit of a retail push here, and I think we can see CAS at 0.24. So that is my ultimate target that I'm looking at for CAS right now. In the short term, what do you need to do? Watch your key supports now. We've broken horizontal. Your first level 0.148, your next level 0.143. Both of these could give you potential supports. Don't be surprised if it pulls back to these zones, though. Okay, we've got nice thick green candles here. Look for those little support buys if possible, and then we can send CAS a little bit higher. Okay, and here's CAS. Here it is. I finally breached the $6,000 level. Okay, so this really starting to pay off now, and I never got to increase my size because we never got that support buy down at the 200-day MA. But this thing is finally starting to print proper handbag money here, and this thing is cooking. So no reason for me to close this one just yet. As it goes higher, I keep seeing my new support levels coming into play. So we're going to let this one play out a little bit longer and see if we can just push these profits a little bit higher. So CAS, so far so good. And remember, I'm trading this one on weeks. Now, we haven't spoken about weeks in a few days, but let's not forget what is happening with weeks. They are launching their WXT token. Okay, and remember in the days when BNB was worth nothing, a few cents. Okay, that thing's $600 now. These guys are building their own ecosystem here using their own tokens. They're going to have launch pads. They're going to have all these types of things. And what they are saying here is that if you are trading on weeks in this period, you can participate in a WXT airdrop. They're going to airdrop you the tokens. Those of you might remember, you got airdropped BNB tokens back in the day. I think it was 2020 and things like that. And look, are those things developed out for you. So look out, WXT, if you're trading on the exchange, you're qualifying for the airdrop. The more you're trading, the more tokens you're going to get airdropped. There's a big thing happening here with weeks. I've been telling you guys for a while now what is going on with this exchange, and it's all becoming a reality now. They're turning into a proper situation here. So jump onto weeks. They also have a 20% sign-up bonus for you. Again, I don't know how long this is going to be around for because they've been trying to get a lot of new members on here, but now they're turning into a massive force here, and they're really turning this thing on. So take advantage while you still can of the 20% sign-up bonus. The link is in the description here for you guys. And WXT, they're going to airdrop you this stuff, and it's basically just as you trade, you're going to be making money out of this thing. So watch that WXT. Right, meme coin time. Who's ready for some memes? Ray, are you ready for some memes yet, bro?
Let's do it.
And I know this guy. Traded a meme. That's
always ready for memes.
Always. Did you do that? Did you do that? Didn't you do 1,000x? What did you do?
Well, we called Kitty, and we charted it out last week, and everybody was patiently getting into it, and then kaboom,
Bang.
did we expect? Yep. And Rito also was another one that we did a really nice pump on. So we knock them off every week. Now that we're going to knock them off in Sniper Club again on Tuesday.
So Снайпер Club has now got our own meme channel. Okay, we've started a meme channel. We started our meme community there in Снайпер Club, and Bruce and the guys, and obviously Champion. His name is Champion in the Discord. Champion up, and they dropping some proper alpha there, and they called this kitty. And I'm going to take credit for this one. I dropped this DOUGHGE. It's basically the Doge dog made of dough. Okay, I dropped this in Снайпер Club on Friday. At a market cap of round about, I think it was $250,000 to $280,000 market cap. I dropped this one in the Снайпер Club. Okay, I had to give this one a special mention because it's far exceeded any of my expectations here. This thing has hit a $3.2 million market cap in a few days. Okay, this thing is absolutely flying right now. So can this thing go higher? Yeah, potentially it can. Okay, so, once it gets traction like this, these things really start moving. When they're tiny caps and stuff, you never know. You're going to buy some of these meme coins, they're going to pump, they're going to dump, they're going to do all these things. But when this thing starts getting a traction like this, and we got a $3.2 million market cap, look at the liquidity here. They've locked liquidity, 180K as well. So things are looking interesting here on this front. So I would say the next target on this one is probably $4 or $5 million market cap. If you are in this from the 300K market cap, obviously, you want to just make sure that you don't get too greedy on this thing. You need to manage yourself because you are already 10x up on this token. If you are trading it from earlier, well, if you're trading it from maybe a day ago or whatever, you probably maybe 2x up or 3x up. And can this thing go more? Yes, I think it's got legs. Let's call it 4 or 5 million is going to be the next sort of level for me where I'm going to be taking some profits here on this thing. So we're going to see how this one plays out at the moment. But so far, an absolute banger for Doge. And what we know about it, do you remember that used car? You remember the token?
Yeah, I remember you did that. Yeah.
So what we know is the same team behind this used car thing, and that thing went big. I mean, that thing went. I think that thing did a 20 million or something like that, 20 million or so, 30 million market cap. So watch this Doge. Keep your eyes on this one, and you can see we had a little bit of weakness here at one point. Bang! And what did they do? They bought it straight up. So look out. Maybe a bit of a mover. We'll see where this one goes. Okay, another one. DTI, okay, another performer. I dropped this one in the Снайпер Club as well. I dropped it on the show, all these types of things. This thing is now at a $2 million market cap. It peaked at a $4 million market cap. So this thing potentially has some legs as well. Election narrative, Trump narrative, you know the drill. When these things hot up again, when he's back in court or whatever the story is, these things get attention. So eyes on this one as well. DTI, no changes here. $2 million market cap. It's peaked at 4, and we'll keep our eyes on this one. It was an OG meme coin that got rugged. The community took it over, and now we're looking at some action. I see Money Print says the most active room in Снайпер Club. Well, we've only just opened the meme chat, and these DJs are in there.
It'll all balance out over time. It's okay, but yeah, it's true. There's a lot going on.
Okay, so I see the Moon says, wait, who said this? Just Jay says dough is needed. That's hilarious. Yeah. Okay, let's look at a couple of other memes while we at it. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, this was another banger. Now remember the rules. When the market turns bullish after a week period or whatever the story is, you can jump into some of these meme coins. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, PEPE, WIF, Bonk, Myro. Pick a meme. These things all get a little bit of action. And I just wanted to use this as an example for you guys. Again, a 382 bounce, absolute perfection here on 𝗏𝗏𝗏. You couldn't have timed this thing better. And such a simple thing, really. Just using a little bit of TA and a little bit of patience. Look at this entry here on 𝗏𝗏𝗏 that you could have taken advantage of here. 382, tied in with horizontals, and an absolute banger move. Okay, so if you're trading 𝗏𝗏𝗏, what do you do now? Is there more in this potential move? Well, what you need to do is watch your support levels. So number one, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 traders, look for your highs, pull your fibs from your lows to your highs, and just identify where your bullish bounce zones are. Bullish bounce zone has to be a 382, number one, and bullish bounce zone number two has to be a 618 fib, number two. Okay, both of these areas. So I'm going to read them to you here. 000 266. and 0.00255. Both of these are potential bullish bounce zones here for you guys, and but a great move here. We've broken resistance, and things are looking okay now on Floki. So let's hold the 618 fib, and then we should be okay. We should be tracking to our 30 region there, give or take. So Floki looking good. Let's see what else is going on here. Hussein says the stream is so energetic. I'm bringing the energy, guys. I even brought my bull hat today. And, you know, I thought BTC was going to 80K, you know, not too long ago. Okay, guys, I've got 2 more things for you. I've got Rio. So RWA play. Okay, you know we're jumping into Ondo all the time. Here's Relio Network. I've called this one on my show not too long ago, and it's finally popped out of this little trend. So I just wanted to bring your attention again. There's a Senate hearing happening, not a Senate hearing, but there's a hearing happening in the States. Basically, real world assets versus, you know, what is the right phrase here? But basically, these guys, they're talking about RWAs and crypto. Okay, yeah. Bullish things are happening here at the moment, and I wanted to give you a pick. Obviously, Ondo, you know about. We trade that one all the time. Relio is a banger. Chaos called this one ages ago on Sniper Club. I know Rodolfo loves this one as well, and just looking good. So Rio's broken trend, nothing to worry about here. I think there could be a nice little long play on this one. Just watch your support, 1.46. Watch that region there. That's your support zone. Upside target's got to be 2 for me. So nice little trend break. Good start on that one. And let's see our final banger here, PEPE. Okay, a nice little reaction here. I've just got support for you. So we didn't get a big pullback on PEPE. Look, I mean, it was pretty dramatic. I mean, I suppose it was. What did they give us? 23%. Okay, but in meme country, 23% isn't that big, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But PEPE, let's watch a couple of areas here. If you're sitting in this PEPE position, look at that 382. Okay, we had a nice little second visit on that 382. So I would say, PEPE, watch your support now. 0.0001388. That's your big support zone that you want to watch for now. If you are sitting in a position, that is your main support that you're going to watch. And then lower down, you can play with these wicks here at 1319, that sort of area. But I would watch 1388. That's your big one for PEPE. Bruce, thanks for hanging.
You're very welcome, my brother.
Guys, woo! Okay, you got it. You got the levels. You know the drill. Are we going to see BTC at 80K in 11 days? Let's see how this one plays out. You know your lower levels as well. What if they come for a flush? Be ready. Make sure you know those areas. I'm loving Sol 158 to 154. If we get it, alternatively, we're going to play that trend break. So lots to see this week. And I'm going to bring you so much action tomorrow. We got tons to talk about this week. It's going to be fun. See you guys later.